some of it will be truthful. All of it will be relevant. If I'm being facetious and YouTube cuts me off again, which they just did, then that's the end of today's live streaming. It's an amazing thing. They won't let me play. I'm going to try to restart my computer. Well, it looks like the connection came back. So we could start talking about the fact that President Trump has assured America and the world that the White House has plenty of toilet paper. And if you have your doubts as to whether or not they'll be able to prolong their good luck and prosperity in regards to toilet paper on here today in America. So we will pray. We will pray. Pray, Jesus, please, Jesus, let this live stream go through, because I only have 5 notes and they're pretty simple. I want to assure you that President Trump has everything under control. Everything under control. In fact, third time today. That's right, Man, Bear, Pig. Welcome to the machine. I'm afraid to clap because I don't know what Mr. Al Gore's rhythmic systems will do to my live stream today, so I'm not even going to move. Okay, so President Trump has ordered 10,000 copies of the U.S. Constitution, and remember, the Constitution has a grouping of words, and the first thing is freedom of speech. So when the White House runs out of toilet, they will be using page 1, and they will use the freedom of speech page of the U.S. Constitution to help them alleviate the debris. After a while, they're going to take page 2, which is the Second Amendment, and then they will take page 2 and wipe the debris field with page 2 of the American Constitution. And then they will, in fact, have complete availability to destroy or utilize. Utilize is a better word. Utilizing the rest of the Constitution and the amendment crisis. And this crisis, whether it's it's hard to say because my live streams keep getting taken down. But one thing that you can rest assured in is these 2 pieces of information I'm about to give you now, it's not comedy, it's factual. So the largest pharmaceutical company in America is called Abbott, Abbott, Abbott Pharmaceutical. And funny enough, now this is the funny part about Abbott Pharmaceutical. I just think that some of this stuff was thought out and intended to happen like this, 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, because Abbott Pharmaceuticals, which is the biggest pharmaceutical company in America, these are fact, or was back in the 1800s. Yep, the connection is gone. Yep, the connection is gone. If it goes away. Abbott Pharmaceuticals was created by a Dr. Abbott, and his pharmaceutical company was based on distribution of opioids. Yes, that's what I said. So morphine and other opioids is the doctor's discovery or how to put them encapsulate them in pill form. So that was his patent and his discovery. And now that's the biggest pharmaceutical company in America. So we're going someplace with this. Just hang in there. So Abbott Pharmaceuticals is located in Illinois, ILL, Illinois. I don't even know where Illinois is, actually. And I do know that I think I lost the connection. Illinois is somewhere, it's near Chicago. Or maybe, well, we have the wordsmith here. Let's see what the word. Welcome to the machine. Some men can lead, many men can follow. To be a minister, to preach the word, to boldly found church is the height of leadership, as it takes faith of others. We have that in Michael the Blessed. Salam it is, and I dare to tell you that I have a major donator to the church, but I'm going to have to charge you for that information. Abbott is right near. Okay, so I'm right. Chicago, Illinois is where Abbott. Okay. So this is what I wanted to. This is the irony in all of this. So Abbott Pharmaceuticals, bad. So Abbott Pharmaceuticals was based on opioids and the distribution thereof. So then it became one of the biggest pharmaceutical. I don't need my glasses for this. I can do this from memory. Then it became one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. And then it outsourced its manufacturing process. I do believe I understand or something in that area of the world. So basically, America's biggest pharmaceutical companies has been shifted to where the money at least goes through a foreign country, either Pakistan or like Pakistan. So President Trump wasn't satisfied with that. And when he realized that some of the money was going to Pakistan, what he did was created this thing that's going on here in America. He created that. And when he did that, you have to understand that the pharmaceuticals to fix have to come from somewhere. So when you look at the daisy chain of where the pharmaceuticals come from, America is now dependent on 80% of all pharmaceuticals from foreign countries, and more specifically, China. So basically, China just creates, manufactures 80% of America's pharmaceuticals. So here's where we were going with this. When I said that Mr. Trump is going to use the American Constitution as a backup plan for toilet paper, I wasn't kidding about that. So what did President Trump do? The great President Trump, the number one. He's way better. He's way better at being president than Obama could ever hope to be. President Trump has succeeded where Obama failed. Tariffs on China, right? And he put a 25% import fee on China's products, right? Oh boy, we lost the connection. Okay, so it's buffering again. So what did President Trump do? He put the tariffs on China. He put the screws. He put the screws to China. He did that. He put the 25% import fee. We're going to punish you for all the import monies that you make. We're going to punish, but buffering. But after he did that, they, T-H-E-Y, capital letters in brackets, they devised a plan, a backup plan to ease the suffering of China. So what I want you to understand is that Sir Anthony Fauci, the great doctor that advises President Trump, Sir Anthony Fauci, we'll call him Sir Anthony Fauci, he knew about this thing that we were going to need excess toilet paper for, which, by the way, the thing that's going around does not cause how that could happen. It's not like you're going to use twice as much toilet paper, unless well, anyway. So Anthony Fauci, he knew about the upcoming event. Let's call it the event, because John Hopkins. I'm going to give you some information about John Hopkins University. Great medical center, fantastic medical center. You do at John Hopkins. And the truth is that John Hopkins knew about this thing that's going on for 2 years. From back from today, and that's provable. So the great Anthony Fauci, the advisor for President Trump, he posted on January 11th of 2017 that President Trump was going to have problems with medical things. He said it. He said it. There was no doubt. And I can't post the links because Google will just destroy my live stream again. And this is the only, it's the third and last live stream I'm going to attempt today. I have something else that I want to do. Those of you who are in my Patreon know what else I'm working on. No, that's not true either. There are certain people that only get certain videos. So not all the people of my Patreon community are receiving what I'm doing now. You'd have to be, I explain this to digress. I digress. I'll talk about Patreon in a minute. So Anthony Fauci, the great Sir Anthony Fauci, knew about this thing that was going to happen on January 11th. You could look up Anthony Fauci, January 11th, 2017, and shared the information with Mr. Trump that there would be a problem on his watch. Something that Obama could only pray for. I mean, Obama did pray 4 or 5 prayers when he was up at the podium. So, but President Trump, he talking about at the podium. Remember that story that President Trump said about the scorpion that needed a ride across the river or something like that, or the snake, and then when it got across the river, it was crossing the river, he said that the scorpion stung the turtle or whatever. I forget the story, and then the turtle turned around and said, "Why did you sting me? Now we'll both die." And the scorpion said, "It's the nature. It's my nature." That was Mr. President Trump, by the way. But now that's not so far from the truth, because look what happened. Okay, so when he was telling you what the scorpion was going to do to the snake or the turtle, whatever was dragging the scorpion across the river, it was President Trump's way of telling you, watch what I do to America. And then he did that. He did that now. It's happening today. So where the great President Obama could not succeed, the great President Trump has trumped Obama. Now, maybe his name was, anyway. So the pharmaceutical companies that distribute the pharmaceuticals in America, Abbott is the biggest in America, but its products are produced in Pakistan. And the other manufacturer of pharmaceuticals, where 80% of all pharmaceuticals come from, is China. So remember, President Trump, he said, "I'm going to teach China a lesson. I'm going to do this for China. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 25% tariff on China." But then behind closed doors, he said to China, "Don't worry about it. You'll make up for the losses on the car imports with the pharmaceuticals. You trillions of dollars. So don't worry about the 25% tariffs we put on your cars or your electronics." Because this is how deals are made, ladies and gentlemen. You wash my back and I'll wash yours. But in this case, President Trump is hosing down everybody. He's just washing everybody's back. He's hosing you down. So I'll read the comments, and then I'll talk about my Patreon, the growth on my Patreon, and then I'll talk about the investor. We're going to have a special show tomorrow on, I think I'll name it The Investor, because I got to tell you, this guy's serious about helping out with the hotel. He's actually going to plan a trip to the Philippines, and we're going to go over the numbers. Although the numbers don't mean much to him, he just wants to see them, just from a business perspective. And then he has already allotted a certain amount of money for the building, the renewing of the construction project on the half-built church. So he's already allocated a large portion of the money. I thank you for doubling your Patreon membership this month. It was very nice. Scott, I wonder if Kitty's hog-nosed bat was a symbol of the oh, definitely. Oh, there's no doubt about that. But anymore. The rhythmic nature of presidential candidate Al Gore has prevented me from showing any pictures or even any placards that I have. As soon as I put a placard on the screen, because remember now, as a backup plan at the White House, they're already moving into using the United States Constitution for a backup plan for a lack of toilet paper. So I would imagine that President Trump has enough Charmin to go around, but I'm thinking that his underlings are using the Constitution for and they're doing it page by page. First page, freedom of speech. Yes, sir. You need toilet paper, use page 1. Yes, sir. And then you would like to use the facilities again? Yes, sir. Here's page 2 of the Constitution. That's the the one where you can use, everybody can have toys. Yeah, let's just use page 2 as a backup plan for a lack of toilet paper, and then it's over, and then all the other amendments and Bill of Rights, they all just disappear because they're being usurped from the people using the facilities in the White House. They're using the American Constitution as a backup plan for a lack of toilet paper. That's what they're doing. So before I get shut down, So the wordsmith said Fauci posted on 121 that the China was not a very significant. Well, yeah, he says a lot of things, but he knew about this 3 years ago. He told the great President Trump about this. So yeah, Scott, the great wordsmith Scott the Fuego brings up an excellent point. Brother Scott, welcome to the machine. Soon to be welcome to the Church of Christians Plus, where Reverend Biggie will be residing over the fellowship and the planned background checks for dating services. So one thing I would like to say, add to the great Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith's comment is, the reason everyone elected to Congress becomes a millionaire. So this I'm going to digress back to the fact that 80% of pharmaceuticals come from Southeast Asia or Pakistan. They don't even make anything in America anymore. They used to in the 80s, but I don't think they don't make much here. So all the congressmen and all the senators go into their positions with some money, but they all come out multi-millionaires. Now, the reason for that is because they know about these things in advance. Now, if you were to be able to see the stock portfolios of the real players in Congress and the Senate and the judges and the mayors and the governors of all the cities, I would, and you could extend that out just I don't know, 4 degrees. So if the governor had a son, his wife's brother could invest in a product if he had inside information, and then his wife's brother would make $10 million and then give his wife's husband, brother's father, sister the money. Okay, when they get out of office, it's a clear cut, win-win situation for these people. So if you could take 4 degrees of separation from the White House, people invested heavily into a market of pharmaceuticals from other countries. Now, one thing for sure, and it's proven, and do you remember when the great President Trump was talking bad things about Miss Nancy Pelosi, the great Nancy Pelosi? Do you remember when he was saying all kinds of bad things about that wonderful lady? Do you remember that? Well, a few 6 months ago, she divested of tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions. The thing happened. She all the companies that she divested the stock from, all those companies collapsed. So how do she know? How does she know? That's the big question. How do she know? How does she know? How did she know? Ah, okay. You guys know how she knew. She knew because, like the gentleman, the great investor that owned the buildings that were broke, the broken buildings in New York City, those giant buildings that got broken a long time ago. That guy knew. He knew to take out double indemnity insurance against certain kinds of broken. Something gets broke a certain way, you get double. And he only did that like 4 months before the buildings got broken. He knew he was a psychic. And then the other guy, that same guy, I mean, the other building, the guy knew that the building was going to get broke at 5 o'clock. And he announced that the building was going to get broke. And then the British Broadcasting Service announced 24 minutes before the building got broke. They announced 24 minutes that the building was broke and the building fell down. Oh my God. How do they know? They know because they know. That's how they know. So let's go. Dennis Adam, welcome to the machine. I see you. And Go Bobo sister, welcome. Welcome, brother Bobo. Brother Go Bobo sister. Welcome to, I look forward to meeting you at the Church of Christians Plus once we start our fellowship programs, but it's not about that today. So the great wordsmith Scott Del Fuego says, look what YouTube has done. Look, they have granted me access to 7. Oh, yes, Salamat, you're wonderful. Yes, Google has granted me access to 10 people now out of 19,000 subscribers. Yay! Thank you, Google. Scott is talking about insider trading. Scott is talking about, AKA DU30, has said something. Well, it's his country. I mean, as long as you're a good boy, I guess that won't happen. So, Go Bobo sister with a fantastic religious question. There will be services on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And on holidays like Easter, yes, the Big E is going to be doing the reverend part of the sermon. Sister Chi will do the songs because she has such a wonderful voice. She sings like an angel. And I will be there with the pot to collect a lot. I got to tell you, I'm going to need a bigger pot the way things are going. So yes, Big E, to answer your question. And to digress back, Scott says, somehow there is an expert how could he possibly find that out, Scott? Scott says somehow an expert discovered that Scott Del Fuego donated $5,000 to the church. How could he know that? How could he know that? I mean, really, how can he know that? Unless you told him, I didn't tell him. It doesn't matter because I think next week I'm going to do a show. I'm going to call it the $500 Crypto Consequences show. So if I'm going to do Bang the Pot, Make a Lot show. And what I'm going to do is, if I collect $500 in Super Chat, we'll make it next Sunday, because this Sunday I have something else I want to talk about. Next Sunday, I'm going to do a $500 Truth or Consequences. And if I collect $500, I will give you the names of the people, the investors into the Church of Christians Plus. And I will give you, I can't give you the names of the Patreon members. But what I can do, to digress back to Patreon. So next Sunday, let's see what date that is. Let's put this on your calendars. Next Sunday, let me get this up on the screen. Next Sunday, which would be, today is Sunday. Wow, I didn't know today was Sunday. Next Sunday, the 12th. Let's call this Truth or Consequences. We will, you guys get your credit cards ready. Next Sunday, if I collect $200 in that, which should be not problematic, but if I don't, I won't give you the information. So if I collect $500 next Sunday in Super Chat, I will give you the names of the big investors into the Church of Christians Plus. And I already do have permission, and I actually went over the numbers with someone 2 days ago. As soon as I got my computer back online, I went over the numbers, and he said, why don't you make it like a contest to release the names of the donators to the Church of Christian Plus? And he said, why don't you say for $50, if you get $50 in Super Chat. I said, $50. People send me $50 all the time. They gave me $1,000. They gave me $47,500 for $500. I'll release the names of the three biggest donators or potential donators to the Church of Christian Plus, where it will be a non-denominational church. A doormat that I just cleaned, and it's clean, a floor mat. So we'll sing the thank you song. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Chris Alexander. So I'm going to see before so that's what we're going to do next week on the 12th. If I could, which is took a dent out of that $100,000, he's okay with that idea. So and in regards, lost the connection. Patreon. I explained to the people of Patreon that if you were a member of $20 or more, in order to get a full preview of my uploads. Okay, so what I had to do with my Patreon members is I had to send them out individual mails. I did that last night, as you will all have noticed, of my current uploads, so that either you were a member $20, only receive certain full uploads. Anyone above $20, how to get those emails out quickly. So I have missed a few parts of a 17-part series. All right. The YouTube, okay. That's right. Chris is the master chess player. So let me go back up to the comments. Welcome to the machine. Gogo Bobo is like a dog. He's everywhere. And he's Gogo Bobo's. No, wait. I don't care about Gogo Bobo. Gogo Bobo's sister is a major contributor to my channel. They are two different people. I heard I said the ability to speak where I don't, if I have to sit there and entertain the thought, what did he just say? What did he say? I'm not going to do that. Most people don't get the reference to the Obama. Well, I can't even put the reference to the Obama in plain words. The live man, Pig says, I'm a very old Mike sub in town, and he did get my notifications. Scott says the Philippines interwebs are hanging 60 boxes of however many masks were in each box. So there could have been 200 masks per box of the N95 mask. He got caught hoarding them. Now, the actual YouTube video was 1 million masks. In the masks that were $15 for a box of 20, and then selling them, what was it, for 1,000 masks for $12 a mask, so 20 times 12, 10 times 1, 2, 2. So he was selling masks that was selling for $15 for $240 online, and he was bringing them to different. And he ripped that page out in the White House, and now they say you're not allowed to hoard masks. It's an amazing thing that happened to America. Thank the gods. Thank the God. Ball is a free place to roam around. Even if you're over 65, you're allowed to walk around. You're allowed to go swimming. You're allowed to go fishing. No, Elmhurst Hospital is not the hospital. It was, it was borderline of Brooklyn and Queens. Geez, you think I would remember that? I tried to. I don't have it. What was the name of that? Hospitals. That was not the name. Elmhurst is where I was born. The hospital where I got stabbed was right across the street from Times Square store. Well, they changed the name of the hospital 3 times since I was brought there. So I could look it up. Hold on. Let's see what happens. Okay. Wow. Brookdale Hospital, but that was not the original name. Yeah, they changed the name. It had a different name, Scott. This was it, though. This is in fact the hospital. When I went by, I walked by there in April, and I saw the name had changed again. Original name of Brookdale Hospital. Name of Brookdale Hospital. Isn't it actually? I wonder what happened to that hospital. Maybe they were. No, this is not right. I have to. What's it different? I don't remember. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, let's see if I could see. It's not Jamaica. It's not Lefferts. It's not Arthur. No, not that. Not that. Not that. This is Bright Point Center. Huh. Yep. That's interesting. I'll have to look that up. That they've changed the name of that hospital so many times. The neighborhood changed drastically, but which should have nothing. Yeah, it was. All I see here is Brookdale. Let me get this map up. I'm gonna open this map up. North Conduit Boulevard, Linden Boulevard, Gunther Knuth Lewis. Let's see. Yeah, it was a completely different name when I went by it, and it was like 20 degrees out. All right, I'm going to give up on that. I'll look that up for you, Scott, and send it to you on Dennis Adams with me. It might have been underwear, but I do know for a fact, Dennis Adams, I do know for a fact that if you are, that this thing, it can go through the internet and the electronics of the internet. This is such a creative genome that it can go through the internet. So the only way that you can prevent yourself, which is another subject I want to touch on. How did this thing get to every corner of the world in 6 weeks? How did it get to every little town in Alabama and every little province in North Uganda and Pakistan and Croatia? How did it get to every little isolated town? That's because they tell you that the thing stays alive for 6 or 7 days. But how did it get to places that didn't have it going around with little spray bottles? Now, I don't know, but Dennis Adams brings up a good point. He said that people can now use underwear if they don't have the money for a mask, because the underwear will protect the droplets from flying around. And that's true. But what Dennis Adams doesn't know, and what the rest of you people don't know, but one guy does. One guy knows everything. He's the go-to man. When you need information, you go there. This guy was way ahead of the curve. He knows that the little molecule, that's what he's doing. He's way ahead of the curve. He's way ahead of the curve. So Dennis Adams, I want to thank you for reminding me that those little pieces can go anywhere and they can stay alive for like 6 or 7 days. But now there was one man who articles rags and or underwear over the camera, which protects him from the little particles from getting through to his place of residence. I mean, this man was way ahead of the curve. In fact, he has self-proclaimed the go-to for information in the Philippines, and I agree. If you need information now, one of the things that I will tell you about is I'm going to have to say the word in order to make the example. Now, I'll leave that for another show. But I am going to talk about so many things I want to talk about. Yes, Scott Del Fuego comes up with the solution, the best solution possible, and the most probable, highly likely, and I believe it's true. Scott Del Fuego comes up with the solution. Every corner of the earth, everywhere in the world, every place on the map and not on the map. And maybe from all that fog that we've been talking about for the last 10 years on the internet, maybe that fog has just an additional genome added to it, and therefore it is everywhere. It is everywhere. That's right, Scott. The great wordsmith comes up with the solution. Jack Thompson. I don't know about a tinfoil adapter. I did not build. Oh, okay. You're asking about somebody else. No, I have hardwire. Believe it or not, I have a hardwire to the main terminal. Is today really Sunday? Could that be possible? Yeah. Sunday. I knew I had to do a show. I was going to do a show today anyway, but that's right. I know why. Yesterday, after my live stream ended, I went outside and worked. And as a select few, a select from some private videos, a select few. When I say a select few, the upper echelon of Patreon. So, but I went out and worked on a project yesterday in the sun. It wasn't nothing personal. It was just something that I don't normally do on make a video about. So I just posted, but those videos are not available. They're only going to be available to the 8 people that got emails. But I did post some videos yesterday to the higher echelon of Patreon only, and my existing Patreon members before a certain date. I explained to you the people that are new members of my Patreon community, that if you didn't at least make a pledge of $10 a month, you would not receive all the uploads. Now, it doesn't mean you won't receive any uploads. You'll just only receive certain. So if you want all the uploads, I suggest you raise your pledge to $10, and then you will receive about 90% of the uploads. Now, is there a person in the audience that is an upper echelon? And I know that there is people in the audience that is upper echelon of, please do that right now. Get your dirty underwear right here, baby. So is there anybody in the upper echelon of my Patreon that doesn't enjoy the uploads that they get? I mean, I will tell you that a few of the members of the upper echelon of Patreon did reduce their pledges. I won't tell you who, but they are here now. And just last night, I got back onto my Hoodwinked channel, and I sent them certain videos, only privately. So I had members of my Patreon community that consistently donated $10 or $20 for a year and a half. And then I think it was 3 total in the last 2 months, they even lowered their subscription pledge from $10 to $1. But amazingly, the same day that one gentleman lowered his pledge from $10 to $1, amazingly, another gentleman pledged $20. On a different day, a gentleman reduced the pledge from $20 to $3, and on the same day, somebody else posted a pledge of $20. So the people, respectively, that reduced their pledge from 20 to 1 and 20 to 3, or the stories that I don't keep my promises, but I believe I keep my promises. And if anybody is here that doesn't believe that, that's your prerogative. It's your prerogative to believe whatever you want. Although I will tell you that the idea of putting dirty underwear over the camera, that was way ahead of the curve. That's way ahead. You have prevented the thing from coming through the internet waves into your house. You were way ahead of the curve. That dirty underwear thing, that was a work of art. A work of art. If I had dirty underwear, which I don't, but if I did have dirty underwear and I was listening to videos, I would put dirty underwear over my camera also, because the dirty underwear will prevent the things from coming through the internet. Scott Delville coined the internet. The dirty underwear will prevent the germs from coming through the internet. So when you created the dirty underwear syndrome, or the dirty underwear philosophy, the philosophy created something that the United States government, something that the world leaders of the world would never have thought of, how to prevent the things from coming through the internet into your home by protecting your screen, your camera with dirty underwear. I mean, this is genius. This is pure genius. You also have to understand that there are other creative geniuses out there as well. So one of the other creative geniuses out there, a very, very powerful man in the community of not just the Philippines community, but the world. A very powerful man has figured out that if you just mention, see, if I was to say to people, I need a computer, okay, like I did last week, all right? And I said, look, I'd like to buy a computer. And then, wow, zam, pow, like Batman would say, close to $3,000 appeared on my screen. Now, I didn't get that money yet because for some reason, Warren H's 120,000 pesos did not come to my bank account. No one can figure out where that money is. But when I get that, some would call it e-begging for the money for a computer. But if that was the case, if I was in fact e-begging, then I would probably to next to zero. The people that like my show would, if I needed, asked and or had to have more money, they'd give it. If I requested money for a computer, I only mentioned that I wanted to buy a computer, and immediately, the great channel and subscribers and people that I have back, I'd be able to do editing. And there are people out there that are mad at Warren H for sending me a large sum of money. And then we have G.E. Northrup, who also created a lot of enemies on YouTube. But we have G.E. Northrup, who donated $215, 250 pounds. Once the money hits the proper bank account, and once I find a company that will accept the funds, you know that I may have to, Warren sent the money, this Philippines banking industry, Michael Fazio is a scammer, but you know that's not true. You hear this all the time. And it's actually a form of because the people here know that that's not true. So I'll read the comments. And all right, so I'm going to read the comments. I'm sorry, I got lost in the sauce. Okay, Dennis Adams, that was a good one. Dennis says some are using underwear for facial masks, and he spelled it a different way. Dennis, we know another fella that has been using dirty underwear as protection. John Escape, welcome to the machine. John Escape, he's an avid and an upright standing member in my Patreon community. Him and I, we actually enjoy the conversations. Dennis is being a little bit facetious, should I say, but close to be. Dennis is saying that my same person that urinates on the dirty underwear to sterilize them. Dennis, that was so unapropos of you, but on point. There were so many things that I want to say about that. I got it. The man who invented the dirty underwear protection over the camera or the mic to protect himself from an up and coming disaster, you were way ahead of the curve. How did you know? Did President Trump give you inside information? Yes, Scott says maybe spraying from above. John Escape, it's a test to see how long the government can keep the people subdued. Now, John Escape brings up a good point. Now, I'll go back to my going on right now. Let's talk about how the government has helped the people, how the assistance that the government has given to the people. First of all, you should know that the one thing that we can't live without is food. And the government has been so gracious to keep all that stuff coming our way. So they are feeding us. They're overfeeding us. Some people are happy that we're getting food. They have reduced the mentality of the population of the world down to that you're happy now just because the government allows food. Really? Really? Didn't I tell you that this was going to happen 10 years ago? Didn't I warn you that this was going to happen 10 years ago? Didn't I tell you all of what is happening right now today? Didn't I just repost that video series on Patreon? Didn't I tell you this was going to happen? Anybody here from Patreon remember the video I posted of the seagulls on the bridge? Anybody remember that video? Even if I show you a picture of the thumbnail of that video right now, this stream will stop. That's how much my channel is being censored. Yesterday and the day before, I showed a picture of that video thumbnail, and both times the stream died. Amazing, right? How did it know? How did it know? How do it know? Didn't I tell you this was going to happen? It did. So John says it's a test. And it is. This froze up Sunday. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Next week, wow, we might have to do a sermon from a temporary headquarters. The Catholic, well, I don't follow the Catholic faith so much. I am a Catholic. I'm not a good Catholic, though, but I'm a Catholic. Dennis and Scott are having a private conversation, which actually makes quite sense. Well, Jack brings up a scenario where previously, in the year 2018, by the way, that people ceased to exist. 81,000 people ceased to exist. And they didn't shut the world down. That was 81,000 people during the winter season of a certain thing. It says, I doubled my pledge. And when this stuff gets worked out, I'll double down again. Well, that's not necessary. That's really not necessary. But thank you, John. So these are my Patreon subscribers. Now I got one pledge when I did the Patreon pledge member. When I asked why did you do that, just ignored my conversation. So and that's okay. Only one person did that. But when I see that the certain people, the other two gentlemen that reduced their pledge, it's okay. It's all right. And in fact, I still send them. I just discovered how to use a new part, or it's new in Patreon, how to get different steps. But now they've reduced it to one step, and now it's easy. So probably they upgraded their system recently. I don't know. I haven't been on Patreon in 6 days. Scott says, as far as the uploads on Patreon, this is in reference to the Patreon upload. Scott says, uploads are excellent. Okay. Dennis Adams, this is the comment of the day. This is the comment of the day. And this has a lot to do with the Philippines. So Dennis Adams says, a B cup can also be used as a great face mask. A B cup, meaning a brassiere. So Dennis Adams is, in fact, has the comment of the day. Thank you very much, Dennis. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, for the people out there, and there are people out there In fact, there's another guy. Well, we won't talk about the other guy. There are people out there that have critiqued my ability in the Philippines vlogging genre, and also on my live streams, and a prestigious donator to my channel. So let me tell you how far Dennis Adam went to donate money during my haircut. Remember when that rumor was going around that I was wearing a wig? Remember that? Remember that rumor that guy started? And then I came up with the idea to, if you want me to show you that I don't have a wig on, I'll cut my hair, but you got to pay for that. During the course of that 6-hour show where Daisy trimmed off all my hair and then shaved my head, Dennis Adam not only contributed major to that show, major contributor, but Dennis Adam, he paid $50 to shave my left eyebrow only. He paid $50, and Mercury 3 paid $50 to shave the other eyebrow. These two gentlemen, Mercury and Dennis, paid me 5,000 pesos to shave my two eyebrows. To give you an idea what an upstanding and or contributor Dennis Adam has been to my channel. Now, I hear rumors heard that I'm not allowed to wear a fedora. I'm not allowed to wear a fedora. Why? Why am I not allowed to wear a fedora? I heard that. Somebody told me last night that I was being critiqued for wearing a fedora. What? Really? Flat Earth, has your existence on this flat Earth been reduced to where now you are critiquing people's headgear? You're a funny guy. I gotta tell you, you're a funny guy. I went out last night after I did my live stream and worked until 5 o'clock, and then I came in and I watched Chi came on, Sister Chi Corsairs. Now, I think I've come around to the conclusion that Sister Chi's show is a good show for the Filipinos and the mindset of the women in the Philippines and all the men that want to learn a little bit about the mindset of the women in the Philippines. Because for me, Sister Chi's show is, when I look at it, it's just a little bit off of what I would want a show to be. But in one respect, it shows you, when she puts the people on the panel, how the Filipino lifestyle exists in the Philippines. Like last night, I watched about 15 minutes of the show. It's not for me. It's not for me, and I'll tell you why it's not for me. But it's enjoyable to watch for 10 or 15. She put another woman on the panel. So between the children, depiction of life in the Philippines, but all that background noise, the children playing, the dogs barking, the television on, the conversations going on in the background, people walking back and forth across behind the secondary person on, I can't do that. That's just, I can't, if I have to sit there and just try to discern what somebody said, plus the accent, plus half the conversation is in a different language, I won't do that. Now, of course, you know, and I know, and Sister Chi knows, and Big E knows that I'm not fond of Sister Chi's singing, but she has come to an agreement with God that allows her to sing one particular song, like Heaven's Angels came down and are gracing the world with that song. And that song, ladies and gentlemen, is thank you, thank you, thank you very much, salamat. That tonation and inflection of her voice in that song is perfect. When she tries to sing Barry Manilow or that other stuff, like Cats on a String, baby. I can't listen to that. She knows. I know. You know. Everybody knows. But the thank you song, Christians Plus. In fact, it might be like elevator music, background music during the beginning of the pot song. The song, the thank you song, has come to heights I never expected to hear the song. Sister Chi, you're the best singer of the song. Everybody else, secondary to the sister. Triple X is better. I was talking about the size of a cellulite thing. So, okay, Dennis. Yeah, well, if there's a creator on YouTube in my community, it's Dennis Adams. Remember, Dennis Adams is responsible for some of the greatest caricatures on YouTube. Jack Thompson. Okay. He puts I never thought about that, Scott. Scott comes up with a solution to McAfee virus charges fees. The McAfee virus protection program, says Scott Del Fuego, can now be circumvented with a pair of dirty underwear and or socks placed over your camera. Big E, Minister, Reverend Big E is in the house. We're gonna. I am blessed, and I did send him out yet, and I won't say his name because probably he doesn't want his name mentioned. But so Big E is one of two people at a certain level that have, well, let me say that those two people have increased my Patreon 20% in the last 10 days. Thank you very much. So Dennis Adams, Big E is going to be the presiding minister. Now, if the live stream goes on, I'll note on the fees that are going to be charged for the Church of Christians Plus. Everything is going to be by the pound or the kilo. So let me go through these notes real quick. Big E, yes, the uploads are excellent. Dennis, yes, Dennis also seems to be inordinately concentrated among wealthy enclaves here in Illinois. Okay. John Escape, welcome, Big E. Big E, welcome, John. Now, Scott Del Fuego is right on point. Okay, so there is not just one, Scott, but now two bloggers that have erupted because of the donations to the Church of Christian Plus and the Computer Foundation. I mean, the computer donations, the computer donations. So just to go digress for the computer donations. So we didn't have a computer for 2 days, couldn't order the computer. Then I found that the computer price from the original website in America went down 8,000 pesos. But I can't send the computer back if it breaks. So that part, the other blogger got it all wrong, got it 100% wrong. I did not buy the computer, because I tried to buy the computer in the Philippines so I could get the warranty. But the other guy has a way of going about things where he gets everything almost right, but not right, if you know what I mean. So that I didn't order the computer from America was because I couldn't send the computer back for warranty service with the battery in it. Scott Del Fuego knows this better than anybody. I had to send him my GoPro camera back to America without a battery. So the fact that I didn't buy it from the American company, I went to a Filipino company, 4 of them. 3 of them, the product never was available. It was clickbait. And the 4th one, and the American company, is probably where I'm going to get it from. But now I'm hearing stories that I'm going to take the money and put it in my pocket. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get the best price on the computer. And when I purchase the computer, If there are peripherals that I want and I get a discount on the computer, I'll buy peripherals like a proper movie making editor and or something else. But it's none. The thing that you don't understand is this third and fourth party out there. It's none of your business what I do with that money. And in fact, the only 4 people, or the major contributors, they're not complaining. They know that the computer is going to be purchased. Everything in the Philippines is shut down. And yet, it gets dusted up. Fazio stole the money. Fazio embezzling funds from his subscribers. Fazio is scamming people. Fazio is a fraud. Okay, if that's what you believe, and that's why, look, I'm going to expand this conversation. That's why certain bloggers on YouTube, like a Brit in the Philippines, who doesn't talk about Super Chat, sometimes receive $200 to $300 a day. That's why other bloggers who don't talk about Super Chat, like Vinny Eastwood, can collect $1,500 in a day because they don't talk about Super Chat. And that's why the people who donated the computer, monies for the computer to me, I believe, donated monies because I don't go around e-begging, which is exactly opposite of the stories that you hear on YouTube. But I will tell you, there is LaRue Segrest is here. Welcome to the machine, LaRue. Sister LaRue Segrest will be doing, hopefully, Vespers at the church. This is a woman that is, her heart and soul is about the Lord God. So you can't make this stuff up. When you go to Sister LaRue's show, Sister LaRue. So if you're not a member of the Sister LaRue live streams and or show, please, if you believe in God, or if you wish to see a blogger that believes in God and seriously from her heart is a genuinely nice and kind person, that Sister LaRue will say hello to everybody on this live stream. Sister LaRue will say, "Excuse me, host, I'm going to go make lunch." Sister LaRue will say, "Excuse me, host, I have to go." She enters the room and says hello to everybody and exits the room and says goodbye to everybody personally. She is genuinely a kind Christian and or Catholic soul. So if you want to see a live stream where a woman believes in religion and God and truth from to the heart, I mean, to the heart, she believes in this. There's no fakery or there's no chicanery going on. Sister LaRue is a true believer in God, whereas the rest of us, questionable, myself included, of course. But Sister LaRue, she believes fervently in the Lord God and or a particular following or faith. And if you're not part of Sister LaRue's show and you believe in God and you want to hear someone talk about God besides some of the fake pastors that have been proven to be fraudulent in the past, some of the big ones, Sister LaRue is a true believer. So please go to Sister LaRue's channel, and if one of my wrenches want to get the link for Sister LaRue's channel, please. So digressing back, I'll read the comments and then I'm going to give you the price list for the Church of Christians Plus, because there's going to be costs and or service fees involved in the church. The Scott Del Fuego, and money appears on the screen. So, you know what? Being that Scott, as I said, the kingdom, Michael Fazio's kingdom, money appeared. So what, and I'm going to bring back the one thing that a kingdom needs to survive in these days and times. Just wait there 20 seconds, and I will bring you the only thing a kingdom needs to survive in these times. You just wait right there. I have something very special, and then we'll find out who donated that money and we'll sing the thank you songs. Those are bowling pins. Those are empty water bottles. Hold on. You know, and I know that you know that I know that you know what's coming, baby. That's right. You guessed it. The one thing that a kingdom needs to survive more than any other thing the one thing that a kingdom needs to survive more than any icon on my show, talking about he will follow me to the ends of the earth because he has been my friend, actually, and always a supporter in many different ways that you people will never understand. Let's talk about, well, first let's get down. So Scott says, there is a blogger that is erupting like a volcano because Michael has gotten donations. Not just donations, but large clumps and sums of money, some of which has not gotten to my bank. Saying hello to John Escape. I should have known. John Escape loves the pot a lot. So, and he's always trying to start a rainbow. So I learned about Sister LaRue from your stream, Michael, and I'm glad you recommended me to the sub. She actually physically believes, word for word, God's words, according to the King James Bible. And I think that's a great thing. Could you imagine if everybody believed like that? Well, you know, there'd be a lot less diversity, but maybe the world would be a better place. The almighty pot. That's it. Where you were going with that, even though I wasn't down. He thinks the pot is crazy. Instead of giving me credit for one of the greatest people that have tried to bang a pot, even one of the detractors tried to bang a pot, and he got money, but he refuses to bang a pot. So instead, one of my detractors mentioned, I watched the show from a while ago. It was 2 hours and 7 minutes, the show was. And I sat there and I determined a formula. If the word money was mentioned in regards to Super Chat, I count it as one thing. I'll think of a good word for that. I got to think on this. So if the word Super Chat was mentioned, it was one thing. If the word I don't get any Super Chat was mentioned, it was one thing. So if someone said I don't get any money, that's one. Nobody gives me money, that's two. I don't get any Super Chat, that's three. Nobody gives me Super Chat, that's four. If you don't want to donate to my channel, that's five. If I don't get Super Chat, that's okay. I don't need the money, that's six. I'm self-dependent, that's seven, because I don't need your Super Chat. I have self-dependency, that's seven. And if you want to give money to the scammer, that's eight. If you give money to some crazy guy, that's nine. If you give money to a guy that bangs a pot, that's 10. So in that 1 hour show, 2 hour and 7 minute show, I hit the lotto. I'm going to tell you, I should have put that in the title, but I said that the show is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. And I said, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I said, he will say the word Super Chat, or he will mention Super Chat, and how he doesn't need Super Chat, and how if you want to donate to a crazy guy, or you want to donate to an insane guy, or I don't need Super Chat because of this, and my subscribers are not donating, all of those things count as one. But I did not keep those things as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I just put lines on a piece of paper, and I didn't watch the whole show. So I said the show is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. That's 127 minutes. 152 times he will mention Super Chat, the need for Super Chat, the non-need for Super Chat, the crazy guy who collects Super Chat, the insane guy that collects Super Chat, the guy who bangs the pot for Super Chat, the guy who doesn't deserve Super Chat, the guy who's a scammer and is scamming you. Each time I just made a little strike on a piece of paper. And in the beginning, at the top, I said 152 times in 127 minutes. I should have played that number for the lotto that day, because the lines at the end of the 2 hour and 7 minute video, I counted the little lines, and there was 152 lines. So I wasn't doing it 1, 2, 3, where I could determine how many I had. I don't remember, and I didn't do it all at once. I just put the video on while it was still up, and just made little streaks on the paper, and then the paper I just kept to the side, and when I had a few minutes, I'd go back. The insane guy in the hall, the guy that bangs a pot for Super Chat, the guy that doesn't deserve Super Chat, the scammer, and on the other, I said he'll mention money somehow in a negative or positive or need type environment, the need of money, especially for a certain piece of electronic. And although he mentioned money, Super Chat, or the need or the non-need for Super Chat because he's independently wealthy, nobody gave him any Super Chat. And then at the end of that same show, it goes back about 3 or 4 weeks, at the end of the same show, he goes, don't give your money to people that are always talking about Super Chat. They're scammers. So after mentioning Super Chat or money or the need for money or the not need for money or the want of money and the want of money for an electronic instrument that nobody donates money for, he says, do not give your money to people that beg for Super Chat, because anybody that begs for Super Chat doesn't deserve your money. And yet he mentioned Super Chat and or money or the need of money or the need for money for the electronics or the lack of money donated for the, he mentioned it 152 times. So I would think that's a little bit hypocritical. 3D shout out, baby. We have a 3D shout out by John Escape, the communion wafers for the church. Yeah, baby. We got John Escape. Well, we have to do this. I don't know how to, I can't do everything at once by myself. That's why Big E, Reverend Big E, is going to be presiding over the ministries and or the dating site aspect and doing the background checks for the dating aspect of the underworld dating facilities, and that is going to double as a nuclear bomb shelter. It's actually it was an extra pit for water or septic. So there are 2 huge holes on the back of the property where the half-built church is. One of them is going to be for the septic, and then on the other side of the yard is going to be for the underground dating ministries that Reverend Big E and Sabu will preside over. So basically, Reverend Big E's job on Wednesday through Friday, when he gets to the Philippines, will be finding out which men want to come to the Philippines, and also to interview the women wish to be part of the dating aspect of the Church of Christians Plus. And what he's going to do on both sides is that if a woman wants to become a member of the dating aspect of the Church of Christians Plus, Big E will do a background check on her. Now, because Filipinos don't have much money, the gentleman from the foreign country is going to have to pay for that background check. So I've worked out a fair method of payment for that. So what the background check will consist of and why it's going to be a little bit pricey for the man in America is the background check from that Big E has the ability to do because of his position in the professional field. Of one of his expertise is checking backgrounds. Okay, so he will have the ability to find out if the girl was ever married based on her NBI certificate. So as a member of the community, my NBI certificate says that I'm allowed to do work or work for a company, that my background is clean, that I can work for a company or a company can hire me. Of course, they'd have to pay an exorbitant amount of monies to hire me, but I am allowed to work. And I also have a tax ID number. So when a woman wants to be a member of the Christians Plus Dating Fellowship that Big E will preside over in the underworld of the Church of Christians Plus, the man in the foreign country will pay $1 per kilo for that background check to happen. So $1 per kilo. So let's say the woman weighs 50 kilos. The service fee to check the woman's background will be $50. If the woman weighs 60 kilos, the service fee to check the woman's background will be $60 US. Now, these prices may vary depending on the extent of the background check and the availability. So let's say the woman doesn't have an NBI and or a tax certificate. Well, then it's going to go up accordingly, probably to $2 a pound. So if a woman weighs 50 kilos, then the price for the background check would be $100. And subsequently, on the other end of the scale, the man that wants to meet the woman will have to pay for his background check $2 a kilo. So if he weighs 100 kilos, his background check will cost $200. That's just one of the many multitude of fees will be involved with introducing single people to each other. This way, we can get the facts and only the facts, like Friday, Sergeant Friday, just the facts, ma'am, only the facts. So if the man is married, we'll find out about that too. If the woman is married, we'll find out about that. And if the woman is married and has children, we'll find out about that. This way, if the man is planning to come to the Philippines, and I'm going to tell you that it's $7 a pound to bring the man from another country, whatever country it is, minimum, $7 a pound. That's $14 a kilo to get the man from another country to the church to meet the woman after the background checks are complete. So we have $1 a kilo for the woman, we have $2 a kilo for the man, and then we have $14 a kilo for the each way, $14 a kilo for the flight services. We will be controlling what days you come. We'll take care of all your airline reservations. So $14 a kilo to bring the man from the foreign country to the Philippines. And then we'll put you up. If my hotel is done, you'll have, and there are rooms available, we'll put you up in my hotel. If not, there are some other local hotels at about, well, the local hotels were 1,500 pesos a night, but now they're about 2,000 pesos a night. Now you can't rent them, but most of the hotels went up to 2,000 pesos, $40 a night. So it's $14 a kilo to bring you to the Philippines. So if you weigh 100 kilos, that's $1,400 to the Philippines, $1,400 back. So 28 is not on the island of Bohol. That's $2 a kilo to bring her here. And we'll set up all the accommodation. That'd be Big E's job. Will be the pricing of this may vary. Prices may vary. So first we have to sing the thank you song to John Escape, which has been plagiarized, but I don't really care about that. Sister Chi is now singing the thank you song. And her voice sounds like heavenly angels came down to sing the thank you song. So it's not actually plagiarism, and I'm not going to file a copyright strike on it because it's just a silly song, a little ditty that I made up. But Sister Chi sings it the best. So what we're going to have when we start ceremonials out at the Church of Christians Plus, we're going to get Sister Chi to sing the song, and then we're going to put it on a loop, and we'll loop it through ceremony when we bang the pot. Okay, all the time. It'll always be playing. It'll be like a Zen Buddhist meditation, and then I will take the pot when we get the loop system going, and at the end or during or possibly incorporated into the thank you song, which goes like this: thank you, thank you, thank you very much, John Escape, Salamat. Okay, we'll figure out. I'll get a professional musician or something. Maybe I'll even hire somebody, which I'll take out of the church coffers, to bang the pot while Sister Chi sings. And we'll do a recording of a professional studio recording of Sister Chi singing the thank you song, and then the banging of the pot, like something like this. Thank you, thank you very much, thank you. To do the percussion, like Brain Salad Surgery, that song, Brain Salad Surgery, that was great. Do you know that Emerson, Lake and Palmer played at the Madison Square Garden sometime in the middle of winter during a snowstorm? And when they played, I believe it was Brain Salad Surgery, I believe the drummer and the drums were on a platform that rotated upside down, and he played the song upside down, if I remember correctly. So maybe we could get Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer came from. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, John Escape, Salamat. So that was a Freudian slip, where I said I'm going to trick people to send. I'm going to trick people and gentlemen. They're sending it from the heart. You got to take this stuff with a grain of salt. The people that are taking this seriously, they don't know how to bang a pot. They can't bang a pot. They don't make a lot. If they don't have a pot, they got no pot to put the money in. Now, of course, these people are financially independent and wealthy, but why should they have had the luxuries of life thrown on her since birth? No. Is she a woman that has utilized the monies that are being given to her from the heart frivolously? No. Did she take her family out to Jollibees? Yeah, I think she did. God rest her soul. God bless her soul. She took her family out to Jollibees. I got to hear about this for 2 days. She's spending your money on Jollibees. So what? Who cares? Who cares? Why would nobody cares? You know that they're already calling the person a scammer. And then when the person is proven wrong, there's no public apology. There's no remorse. They just move on to another critiquing of a different blogger in a different way. It's a never-ending, mind your business, and you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, I'm going to destroy your reputation. I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about that, and I will tell you what kind of blouse you can wear. I will tell you if your blouse is cut too low. I will tell you when you can come on. If you come on too many times, I will tell you you've been on YouTube too much. Too much. If you don't talk about everything that you talk about in the title, I will tell you this. This is information I will give you free of charge. And at the same time, I will try to destroy your reputation. I will destroy your reputation if you don't do as I tell you to do. If you don't do, and this is only coming from one place. It's not coming from me. Brother Big E, Reverend Big E and Sabu doesn't do this to anybody else. There is no other channel on YouTube. There's only one place where every day, a particular person tries to destroy a different person's reputation. Every day that happens. It doesn't happen every other day. It happens. And now sometimes it's happening 3 times a day. So if you need to know what you can and can't do, in fact, if you need to know if you can give me money, if you're allowed to give, John, I don't even know that you knew that whether or not it's allowed to give me money. Did you get permission? I mean, John, this is a legitimate YouTube Philippines blogging genre question. Did you get permission to send me money? Who are you to send me money without proper permission? Did you get written permission or was it verbal? Do you have a copy of that contract or verbal agreement? Did you get permission to send Michael Fazio money? And the same goes for Chris Alexander. Did you get permission to send me money? The chess master, the chess meister. Did you get permission to send me money to my channel and on my bank account? Did you guys get permission? Don't you know? Haven't you heard that you need permission to send any blogger on YouTube money except one blogger who was given carte blanche to send money to that channel that he runs? But no one does. The almighty pot, LaRue Seagrass. So LaRue Seagrass says, John says, how are you today, LaRue? Hope you have a fine day and did everything well. And LaRue says, and the horses as well, John escaped. So there must be something. Yeah, see, I'll show it to you. LaRue Seagrass. So do you care? Are you okay. LaRue Seagrass is talking about John escape has been in something to do with, I'm not real sure. John can explain it better than me. But John Escape he knows about Aqueduct Racetrack and Belmont Racetrack, and he was just at Aqueduct Racetrack a few months ago. He knows about the care of, he's been in the horse business his entire life. Apparently his family goes back into the horse racing business. So John and LaRue have a private conversation, which I don't know. John Escape, Colors of the Rainbow. So LaRue Seagrass, hello, friend. Big E and Sabu, nice to meet you as my new friend here. Likewise, LaRue on the Colors of the Rainbow. Chi, Sister Chi is in the house. So we know, and you know that I know, that when Sister Chi starts singing like cats on a string, like when you, and but Sister Chi has come up with an absolutely fantastic rendition of the Rainbow Song, and we love. It sounds like heaven's angels have come down and blessed Sister Chi's singing ability. It sounds like a heavenly choir, like Jesus, praise the Lord, was presiding over Sister Chi's voice. For the moment she sang the thank you song yesterday, it sounded heavenly. So we had a 3D shout out. Thank you very much. Sister Chi, welcome to the Church of Christians Plus and Father Fun, otherwise known as Father Fazio, and a doctor in the house. So we're going to move right over to Clark Henderson's We're going to move right down to Clark Henderson's comments because he is probably a very busy man. Then we'll go back up. Clark Henderson, thank you. 2 days ago, well, Filipino doctor friend of mine in Tarlac City. So if you don't know where Tarlac City is, I'll tell you where it is. It's okay to get from my house in Bohol to Tarlac City. You have to go somewhere near Manila and then travel. I think it was 6 or 8 hours by bus. It's all the way at the top end of Manila. So that's far. That's in the middle of nowhere. Now, I know where Tarlac is because I actually talked to a girl on a dating service back in 2015 for a couple of days. And I said, I knew where she lived. Tarlac was on her profile. So where's Tarlac? And she said, it's up. And I looked it up. To get to Tarlac would take an entire day. And it would cost 10,000 pesos round trip to Manila. And then it would take several hours by bus to get to her city. And I didn't want to do that. So I know where Tarlac is. I know where a lot of places are. So Scott's, I think this is where Clark Henderson is going. 2 days ago, a close Filipino doctor friend of mine in Tarlac City passed from the unobtrusive diabolical one, anesthetize him to allow intubation to place on a ventilator. Wow. 2 days ago, a close Filipino doctor friend of mine in Tarlac City passed from the unobtrusive diabolical one. Okay, so his doctor friend passed into the next home because anesthesiologists would not anesthetize him to allow intubation to place on a ventilator. Intubation is the placing of the tube in one's esophagus, in case you don't know what that means. Wow. Why? So I hope, well, Clark Henderson doesn't need to say more. He's telling you, is it true that the recruitment campaign is being organized on the island of Mindanao? That was mentioned on another channel. One of the major resources that we're going to have for the women that are going to be coming to Bohol for the dating services provided by the Church of Christians Plus will have a chapter in Mindanao. There will be a recruitment center in Mindanao, but after all the preliminaries are done, the only place that the meetings will take place in physical form will be at our church. So yes, that's a possibility, Dennis Adams. We, Big E, the Reverend Big E, we are big believers in free enterprise and freedom of choice. After such an extensive vetting process, we will be shipping those who are guaranteed to be perfect wives for you or your money back. Okay, so Reverend Big E has made this policy, and I'm going to fly with this. So in other words, if things don't work out after the vetting process is accomplished, and Big E, I can't tell you how I know, but I know that Big E has the ability to do background checks. He says that the vetting process is going to be a guaranteed vetting process. Now, of course, if things don't work out, I would imagine Big E's back up. We have to see Clark Anderson again. Hold on a minute. The reason was his medical colleagues were afraid of contradicting the diabolical one since they had no protective equipment. This is the direction. Oh my God. This is the direction the problem that we have with this particular form of strain. This is the protection that is heading in, that they are not allowing the medical condition to be diagnosed. And I understand what you're saying, Clark. I just have I have to break it. Okay, well, Scott is Scott with the big offer here. Michael, we can talk offline, but please let me donate more for an early spot. Well, I'm holding back. I want to get the potential donators to the church to get a certain amount of money up so we can move forward with the project. So for right now, I'm holding back on the donations themselves. I actually want to physically meet people to show them the property and to show them what we have and what we don't have. So let's just hold off on that. And then I saw Clark Henderson. Clark Henderson. Reason was, and I saw another Clark Henderson. No, I don't know if it's men only. Okay, so all right, I don't know what's going on. LaRue and a few other people are having a conversation. It's hard for me to. You're welcome, Chico. Goodbye. All right, LaRue is going to excuse herself. Thank you for stopping by, LaRue. Salamat. All right, John Escape. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wait, let's take off the fedora. Did you know that you have to have permission from a certain blogger to donate to my computer fund or my church? Did you know that you need to go through channels? I would imagine he's going to go off on a tangent about for you. How did that work? I heard he reported me to Interpol, the IRS, and but I heard that there were 3 of us that were reported to multiple agencies, and that the forms that he flashed on the screen were actual physical forms to report me to the IRS because Warren donated money for the Warren H. Pavilion. How did that work out for you? I don't know. I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard anything from the IRS or the NSA or Interpol. In fact, I did hear from Interpol when I did hear from him. Thank you very much. I have a clean record. Thank you for making me do that inquiry. I did inquire. I said, do you have anything that you'd like to talk to me about, Interpol? And Interpol came back and said, no, sir. Mr. Fauzier, you have a clean record. Thank you very much, Mr. Interpol. So when I was, I don't know if I actually, you may hear and what you may think and what people say, Michael Fauzier is a good guy. He's one of the good guys. So, and did you know that there are certain ways to wear a fedora and you're not allowed to wear a fedora back like this? Because if you wear a fedora back, it's considered inappropriate. Now, I don't know who wears the fedora back like that, but it's considered inappropriate, which I don't like, but I've seen like pictures on their thumbnails where they wear the fedora to the side. I've seen women wear the fedora to the side like that, left side, right side, same thing. And but you're not allowed to wear the fedora in the back like that because it will show a receding hairline. If you have a receding hairline that looks like the big crater or the surface of the moon during a crescent moon, if you have a receding hairline that looks like a crescent moon, you should wear the fedora in the frontal position to block the shimmer and the glitter from the front like that. And you do have a receding hairline. I just want to know. I just want to tell you. I want you to know, and I want to tell you that I don't care that you're bald. Doesn't bother me at all. When I first meet Big E, I'm not going to tell Big E to turn his head around. Let me see your bald spot. I'm not going to do that. I don't care that he's partially bald. I don't care at all. Doesn't bother. How will that affect my life? Now, it could affect my live stream if I did another shave your head for Super Chat. Well, I could do Super Chat Sunday. I'm going to shave my own head. I could do that. Because I can do that. I could do a Super Chat. What I wanted to do today was I wanted to come on YouTube and say, watch this. Watch how many times they say Super Chat. Count. And I wanted to say, Super Chat, give me money. I don't need money. Those people donate money to that scammer. That scammer collects money. I don't need money. I'm independent. I wanted to say that 152 times in honor of the man who said it 152 times in a 2-hour and 7-minute video last month and didn't collect any Super Chat. I want to say it. We have some big names here. Paige High, another doctor who comes. Paige High, bless you, my son. Welcome to the machine, Paige High. We're having a little fun here. Paige High, when my background check went through, in order to get, let me tell you how that works. Well, you probably know how it works being an actual doctor. You're just as general knowledge. When you apply for an NBI clearance in order to work in the Philippines, you give a full set of fingerprints to the gentleman at the NBI office, who is a police officer, an NBI agent, and a certificate, both hands, fingerprints from the bottom, and palm prints. You give a full set to this gentleman before you fill out the paperwork and pay 130 pesos for your application to be processed. When you give those fingerprints to the NBI fingerprint expert, your fingerprints go to Interpol. Now, if they come back and there's a want or a warrant for those fingerprints, the NBI will send out an officer to arrest you. So when you get an NBI clearance, then you have to get your fingerprints taken. So that I did. So that if I want to work for a company here, I can do that. I also had to get a tax identification. Now, the tax ID number is free. So the NBI clearance, once the fingerprints are taken, takes exactly 21 days. Now, I don't know why it's 21 days. I think that on the 21st day, if nothing came back, because it's Interpol and it's such an organized system, I think Interpol would know within, say, 2 weeks. And they give it an extra week for something else to come back with your fingerprints on it. So Interpol gives you your NBI card on the 21st. NBI gives you your NBI clearance on the 21st day, at which point you have probably already gotten your tax identification, because that's not as problematic. You do need 2 forms of identification for your tax ID, but you need your passport if you're a foreigner and your ACR card up to date. And it's a big sheet of paper about that big, very pretty blue. So anybody that has done that. Okay. Michael McFarland, welcome. Michael McFarland is the last purchaser of my book just about a week ago. Thank you very much, Michael McFarland. And how is that reading going along? Big E, Big E said YouTube can be a wealth of information. He did not know, or lack thereof. He made Big E aware that Big E had a bald spot, because no one ever mentioned Big E before. No one. So I guess that I would imagine, I know where Big E is going with this. Big E is going to send him a letter of gratitude for making Big E aware that his bald spot is now out in public. It's according to a particular blogger, he outed Big E's bald spot. So will Big E, this is the question, will Big E thank him with a monetary contribution to his channel, ending the dry spell of Super Chat, which has now gone on for several months? Will Big E break the dry spell of Super Chat that has not occurred, that I know of, for several months because of the piece of information? Ha, ha, says Page High. My name is in the Philippines, Calbo. I don't know what a Calbo is. Ha ha. So, Big E, # Michael McFarland. Clark Henderson is back. Yes, I'm swamped at work, Mike. Just wanted everyone to heed the recent guidelines and be cautious, because you are likely going to be on your own if the stuff hits the fan more exponentially and chaos. This is going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot worse than worse. It's not going to get better. You and I both know that. It's already at that point where the recovery of... Oh, and while Page High and Clark are here, can you confirm that 80% of our pharmaceuticals come from China, including medical supplies? And now Mr. Trump is going to order ventilators possibly from China because they have such a great ability to create stuff on demand almost. It's almost like hot water on demand. They can create anything. They have all their systems computerized and robotics in the factories. They could just make the robots make different things. So I heard that China is one of the major medical suppliers of all pharmaceuticals, and that's what I heard. Okay, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening, because now we don't have the ability to create pharmaceuticals as we once did. So now, if there is a mandatory, where they got to pump stuff into you mandatorily, all of that stuff is going to come from China. So China will create trillions of dollars of profit. They will create trillions. And we have the wonderful President Trump, who gets his marching orders from the guy Yahoo, Benny Yahoo. He gets his marching orders from Benny Yahoo, who probably invested billions and billions of dollars in the Chinese pharmaceutical company via his buy pharmaceuticals for years in advance. And I would imagine they invested all of their investments into pharmaceuticals, and more specifically Chinese pharmaceuticals. And Page High, Dr. Page High. Biggie says, I will cogitate over. Page High, yes, and India, right. Pakistan. I talked about that at the beginning of my show, Page High, that Abbott Pharmaceuticals, which Dr. Abbott back in, I think it was 1800s, created the ability to put morphine into a pill, encapsulated into a pill form, and became the most successful pharmaceutical company in America, has moved his major operation of production, I believe it was Pakistan, but I did say at the beginning of the show was, now maybe I think Pakistan is in India, or India is in Pakistan. But I said that in the beginning of the show without giving exact information. But Abbott Pharmaceuticals, America's biggest pharmaceutical company, that became the most prolific and most wealthy pharmaceutical company for creating codeine and or morphine pills back in the 1800s, recently, within the last 40 years, moved its operation to Pakistan and or India. I could be, so Page High would know. Page High said India, so India it is. Page High is a doctor. So thank you for that piece of information, Page High. But I did mention that within the first 10 minutes of my show. Page High says the last big drug recall was for a drug called Valsartan, because Chinese had carcinogenic component, no quality control there. Well, well, I could go into the Merck aspect of all of the chemicals and what's going to be mandatory. Up, see, look, my connection is unstable. Look, look, look. It went back to being stable. I'm going to be careful what I say now. I'm going to China, baby, in China. Most were made in the U.S. in the 1990s and before. Most that, you know what, Clark? I'm going to tell you a true story. So I have a brother who used to do, because of his aviation background, he had certain experience to calibrate certain machines. And one of my brothers, Page High is correct. Clark Henderson confirms the Abbott Industries Pharmaceuticals is made in India. Okay, so I thought it was Pakistan. I get those names confused. And he said there was a vat. This is just one example that he told me why medicine is so expensive. So he said there was a vat the size of like a 1 million gallon water tank, like, you know, one of those water tanks made out of metal. And in that 1 million gallon water tank was a solution. And I don't know why. It might have been 10,000 gallons, the tank, but I don't remember the exact numbers. But inside that, let's just say it was 10,000 gallons, because 1 million gallons is a lot. It's not really that much when you put it in one spot. But let's say it was a 10,000 gallon tank, and that solution was mixed and processed in a certain methodology. And then that water was filtered, and the product that they got out of this for the solution to be processed. And that's why medicine is so expensive. They have to create the procedure to mix the chemicals. They have to mix the chemicals for a certain period of time, and then they have to remove the water and or chemicals from the product and then reduce it down into, like, from 10,000 gallons into 1 kilo. And that's why medicine is so expensive. That's why they manufacture it. And he explained the process. This is going back in the he noticed on Page, yeah, I have, well, look, hey, Page High, look, I have 14 viewers with 19,000 subscribers. There's another fellow that has 40,000 subscribers and gets 250 to 350 guests on his live stream. And he's in the Philippines. It's an amazing thing. So, yeah, they did that again. Page High says, I noticed on your post today, you got 50 views. I just laughed. You've obviously pissed off YouTube. That's right, baby. And Page High gives Dr. Henderson the thumbs up. So these are two educated and much more intelligent people than I when it comes to what's going on. Although I warn you, and these people that have watched my videos for the last 10 years know that I am the one person that told you. A lot of people had conspiracy theories, a lot, but not everybody put all of those conspiracy theories into one video and posted it. And you know what? Those videos got like 264 views. One got 2,000 views, and then YouTube buried them. Okay, I am the one person in this entire world that told you that exactly what is happening today. Now, Big E, Scott Del Fuego, and several other members of my Patreon community that saw the video with the seagulls on the bridge and my song, they'll tell you that everything, each and every item that has happened today is happening now, today. I told you about on my second channel in 2012 and 13. I told you this was going to happen, and you people didn't believe it. I told you that the artificial intelligence that runs YouTube, 3 years ago, I told you the artificial intelligence that runs YouTube will eventually take over the internet. I told you that. I explained how it works. I explained that the artificial intelligence just recently has been upgraded to read. If you hold up a placard with verbiage on the placard, it will read the verbiage in any language, and whether it's in printed or scripted form. The artificial intelligence, otherwise known as presidential candidate Al Gore and his rhythmic songs, the artificial intelligence has moved up a notch to where it now reads if you put words, or if you put a picture up with a signage in the picture, and it doesn't like that, your First Amendment, Mr. Trump is now substituting the American Constitution, and more specifically page 1, freedom of speech, and using it for toilet paper in the White House because of the lack of toilet paper. Your free speech is gone. And that's because what happened is there are only so many copies of the American Constitution, including the two originals. And Mr. Trump refuses to use a copy of the American Constitution when he has to use the CR. So what he's doing is he's systematically removing pages of the Constitution, starting with page 1, freedom of speech, and he's using it to clean up the debris field. The next page, now he ordered 10,000 copies, and then he will use that page also, because Mr. Trump said when the turtle was bringing the scorpion across the river, and the scorpion promised the turtle that he wouldn't sting the scorpion. The scorpion wouldn't sting the turtle. And they got halfway across the river, and the scorpion stung the turtle. And the turtle turned around and said, "Why did you do that, Mr. Scorpion? Remember the speech that Trump gave? Remember the speech that Trump gave." And the scorpion says, well, Mr. Trump was in First and Second Amendment. He was telling you that that's what he was going to do. He was projecting the future to you. He knew the future. He was told the future because he has been programmed to understand what the future would be. More so now that the great President Trump, what President Trump has succeeded where Mr. Obama failed. You just have to remember that. Mr. Obama is probably praying to the gods that President Trump succeeds where he failed. So let's go back to the comments. Michael decided to going to get the account up tomorrow. Then Benai on Tuesday had to get a border pass to go. Then when I get 14 baht, okay, right. All right, I'm not real. Hey, Blue Rose, buddy, how you doing? Welcome back. You've been offline for a couple of days. We missed you. I know that you got my notifications. Thank you, Blue Rose, for your assistance. I do wish to talk to you if you're going to have time. Blue Rose says, glad to see doctor opinions. So physical, actual doctors come to my channel, have come to my channel, enjoy both my humor for its comedic and its knowledge base, okay? Because if I just said what I said to you in the last 10 minutes, word for word, well, the live stream would get shut down. If I told you the truth, if I didn't say that the presidential candidate Al Gore had a very rhythmic, altruistic attitude, my channel video would get shut down. It might even get turned off the video itself for improper content. But being that I was more creative than the next guy, I can't say it. I can't. Let me read. Clark Henderson says, the only thing that keeps China from twisting the screws on the U.S. is that if we do, their economy will. We need to bring back vital, critical manufacturing and raw materials back to the U.S. So Clark Henderson understands, as I do. I walked through Detroit car manufacturing and the steel mills back in 1988 when I was going through the Detroit River down the Detroit Strait. I had to park the barge to sleep, and I rested there a couple of days because it was such a cool place to take pictures. Miles, and the reason I told you, I told my subscribers before, President Trump, the great President Trump, who succeeded where Mr. Obama failed, President Trump did smack China with 25% tariffs, but in the back door that he gave America. Mr. Trump is your backdoor man. So in the back door, when he said to China, don't worry about those 25% tariffs, I believe he said, what's coming up, you'll make trillions on the pharmaceutical industry, but just give us a few months so that we can divest our investments in certain things and invest in your pharmaceutical companies. I would bet my life and my soul that every extended member of Trump's family, cousins, relatives, brothers, all his personal friends, and all his inner circle, just like Nancy Pelosi sold off tens of $millions worth of stock 6 months ago, and each one of those companies that she sold off the stock to collapsed about 3 months. She knew. Well, just like she knew that those companies were going to collapse, Mr. Trump's friends knew what companies to dump. So when Mr. Trump was asked, was it Dianne Feinstein, and elected, or 3 years, he said Dianne Feinstein or whatever, Nancy Pelosi, they were corrupt, but now they're fine members of Congress. And notice how the Democrats are now siding with the Republicans on everything regarding this problem. There are no more conflicts. There are no more what they call a cross. It's all subterfuge, ladies and gentlemen. You are being invaded via your back door. Back to the comments. Clark Henderson says the only thing that keeps China from twisting the screws on the U.S. is that if they do, their economy will tank. That's pretty much the case because they can only put the screws to us so far, but they don't need to put the screws to us anymore. The great President Trump, who succeeded in destroying a certain thing where Mr. Obama failed, is now allowing China to manufacture what we need to fix the problem. So the $50-60 billion a year that China lost on tariffs from the car industry, they're going to make $1 trillion. That's right, Clark Henderson, the opposite of what is true. Thank you. Scott Del Fuego, absolutely, Clark Henderson. What the last 4 or 5 administrations allowed with outsourcing is criminal. They should be prosecuted. They are untrustworthy. Star, says Clark Henderson. So what I saw in 1988 was the American iron ore capital of America, where the iron ore was brought from all over the lakes down the Detroit Straits to the steel mills, which eventually produced the steel to manufacture cars. I saw tens of square miles of empty factories, no guards. I didn't see any gates that were closed, and there was billions of dollars worth of equipment laying around. One of the things that I wanted, and I wanted it bad, on the dock where I ported, going down the Detroit Strait with Barge Dragon when I was bringing the barge back from Traverse City, Michigan. On the dock, on the pier where I made up to, there was an 18-part block. Now, an 18-part block was about 4.5 feet wide and 4 feet high, and it had 18 shivs in the block. I think it was 18 parts. I have a picture of it somewhere. So I said, I'm going to take that home with me. I damn near. I got to tell you, I went to pick that up. I only had a 6-ton band of crane on the barge. I couldn't move it. I couldn't even drag it from the pier onto the barge. And if I would have dragged it from the pier onto the barge, it probably would have went through the barge and sunk it. But that shiv is worth over $200,000. And it was just laying on the dock rusting. Now, I don't know that I could have sold it, but it sure would have made a nice conversation piece on my front lawn in America, in my house in America. So, yeah, that would have been the height of my collection in nautical gear. It wasn't really nautical, it was crane gear. So I just bought a crane barge. I figured what better way to advertise that I own a crane is to put an 18-part block on my front lawn. But I couldn't even move it. It was a 6-ton Bantam crane. It wouldn't pick up 6 tons, maybe vertical. But even in the vertical pick with 2 wide on this 18-part block, I couldn't move it. It wouldn't move an inch. So whatever it weighed more than 6 tons, or it weighed more than the maximum lifting capacity for that little Bantam crane. So to digress, Abbott Pharmaceuticals, that was the greatest pharmaceutical company in America that made its wealth and its family's wealth that, condensed. There we go. Stable unconnection again. There we go. The stable unconnection. There we go. So they made their wealth make. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go. I want to thank everybody for the super chat. And maybe one show this week in honor of one of the Philippines' greatest bloggers, or most known bloggers, that he made a show for 127 minutes. And I said, I just took an arbitrary number. I said, this man is going to mention the word super chat 100 or money, or give me money, or I didn't get any money, or I don't need any money. He is going to mention super chat, or the fact that he doesn't want super chat or need super chat because he's independently wealthy. Then the next time he mentioned money or super chat, I put another line on the piece of paper like that. And then when he said, I don't need any super chat, I put another line on the piece of paper like that. And then when he said, nobody gives me money, I put another line on the paper like that. And then when he said that I don't care if you give me money, I put a cross across the line. And I didn't count from 1 to 152, and I didn't watch the video from beginning to end. All I did was put a line on the piece of paper every time he said that guy's a scammer, you shouldn't give him your super chat money. I put a line on the paper. So, and it was a big piece of paper. Oh, we lost the connection. Well, let's see if we're going to get that back. Oh, we're still there. Look at this. Look at this. They're giving me, your Windows PC is out of support, and I can't get new support. Microsoft strongly recommends using Windows 10 on a new PC, which is why I requested funds for a new computer. Okay, so I just put on a piece of paper these marks like this. And after I listened to the whole 127 minutes, then I counted all the marks on. It was a full sheet of loose, and I only made little marks, like one line like that. And on the page that I had, I guessed I put the number 1. I ran out of magic mark. I put the number 152 on the page. And so basically I hit the the Truth Channel Lotto. Let's call it the Truth Channel Lotto. The guy that professes to tell the truth and mention money, super chat, the need for super chat, the non-need for super chat, the fact that no one gave him super chat for a computer, the fact that no one gives him any money, and the fact that no one's given him any money for months, and he doesn't need the money because he's self-sufficient and self-reliable, which is true. I hit the Truth Sayers Lotto by putting 152 marks on the page, and man himself, the man, the go-to man when you need information in the Philippines, the go-to man mentioned money or the lack of, or the need of, or the no need of, and or scammers not needing, or don't give you money to scammers, or the scammers collect money that they don't deserve. 152 times he mentioned it. I hit the Truth Sayers Channel Lotto. So Clark Henderson with another long comment. Whoa! Clark Henderson, okay. You two gentlemen, I'm going to send you guys emails so that there'll be a cross-reference to you via email. You guys are both on par in a lot of different ways. Scott Del Fuego, you are spot on at Scott Del Fuego. All those administrations were pressing for globalization. I can see my live stream dying now. Congress has some of the most ineptly degenerate, corrupt, and foolish people I have ever heard of or seen. And they're completely, aside from being inept and corrupt, Scott and Clark, they are completely void of any wrongdoing, no matter what they do. Whereas Dr. Clark Henderson has to be responsible if he makes a mistake. These it's back. I didn't expect it to come back. Ron Tripp. Okay, read Ron Tripp's comment. That's right. They could be looking. I don't have permission to wear this fedora, but I do it anyway because I'm a rule breaker. I have heard many commentaries now that he has a fedora. He's wearing a fedora. I didn't see it. I didn't actually see it, but I heard that I'm heard as apropos for that guy's channel. I am now being critiqued for wearing a fedora. I don't know what else. Look, I have to wear a fedora because I'm going bald. In case you guys didn't notice, my hairline has receded a full 3/8 of an inch since I was in high school. I need to wear a fedora. Otherwise, I will be embarrassed to go out into public because people will know that my hairline is receding. And look at this. Oh, I am vain. Oh, my God. Cut. I got to go get a haircut. I need a haircut. Okay, it's getting a little hot in here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming to the Michael Fazio, otherwise known as Rabbi Drew Barker, otherwise known as Father Fun, and the Church of Christians Plus, where Sister Chico Saris will be singing the thank you song, and there will be, I think we're going to get Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer to come in and do the percussions for the background of the thank you song that will be playing in the background like a Zen Buddhist meditation inside the Church of Christians Plus. And Big E is going to reside over the Church of Christians Plus, doing all the administrations and the underworld dating services and or the background checks for both foreigners and Filipinos in the Philippines, all over. In fact, on Big E's channel yesterday, he requested some photographs that he can review and some information for the potential guests at the Christians Plus Church of Dating, because the dating services Big E is involved and in charge of, and the background checks. We're going to have, this is not going to be, nobody's going to be allowed to come on here and say they're married or not married if they're married. So Clark Henderson says, not being held accountable has to be the biggest crime. Mine has receded to the crack of my buttocks. LOL. It is. They look. Forget about this. Forget about this. Oh, Mr. Obama, the great Mr. Obama. Trump has trumped Obama. Every politician, every Democrat, there was only, I think, one vote against the lockdown in the Senate or Congress. One person voted against it. No time in history did the left and the right cross the aisle to have a 99% vote on any item ever in past history. No, never happened before. Because they were all in on it. They were all given inside information, what to buy, what to sell 2 or 3 years ago. And they've been slowly slipping it in every day. They've been slipping it in every single day. And now that the White House has run out of paper, President Trump has ordered all 10,000 copies of existing American Constitution that were placed in courtrooms and libraries to be brought to the White House. And he's starting with page 1, freedom of speech, and he's cleaning up the debris field with the freedom of speech first page of the Constitution. And when he's done cleaning up the freedom of speech, there are no more page 1s. He's going to move to the second page. You don't think I'm telling you the truth? Who cares what you think? One thing about me, I never cared. I don't care what you think. I never cared what you think, and I'm never going to care what you think. You think whatever you want to think. And if you think you have the right to abuse Sister Chi Corsaris for collecting money and using it any way she wants, then you are mistaken. You are mistaken. You do not have that right. You do not have the right to interfere inside your opinion, or your opinion is the only opinion that is consistent with your opinion. Everybody else doesn't care. Do you see G.E. Northrop, who donated $315 to my fund for the computer? You see him complaining? He knows that I didn't have a computer for 2 days. And then I showed you the websites that I went to buy a computer, but only you care. And you have the right to care. But no one cares what you care about. Because you mentioned Super Chat 152 times, and you haven't had any Super Chat in 7 months. So, therefore, no one cares. No one cares that you mentioned it 152 times in one live stream, and no one cares that you got it or didn't get it. No one cares. It's only a perception that you have. Welcome to the machine, Big Kev. We're just talking about Big Kevin. Oh, God. We were talking about bald people before. You were a little bit late. So I'm going to read Clark Henderson's comment again. Clark Henderson, you are spot on at Scott Del Fuego. All those administrations were pressing for globalization. This live stream is going to get shut down. Rest assured. I mentioned globalization twice now. Congress has some of the most inept, degenerate, corrupt, and foolish people I have ever seen. Ron Tripp makes a fantastic comment. Clark Henderson says not being held accountable has to be the biggest crime of the politicians, senators and congressmen, judges, mayors, governors, and everybody in between. And mine has receded to the crack of my buttocks. LOL. All right, I want to go. It's 3 hours. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about is my self-control. Do you see me having to utilize, having to go take a break for some obscure thing? Do you see me not being able to control certain habits, whether they're good or bad? Do you see me doing any of? Do I go out and get commercial breaks from my sponsors? under the pretense I'm going to get some fresh air, when in fact, I'm going to get a cigarette. I'm going to get a cigarette. If I wanted to get a cigarette, I'd just tell you I'm going to go get a cigarette. But do you see that happening on my show? I could go. I do go when I go outside to do my thing, whatever it is my thing is, my work, my trabajo. I don't bring cigarettes with me. When I go to the city, if I'm gone 11 hours, I don't smoke a cigarette for 11 hours. It doesn't bother me in the least. I actually can just say I'm going to stop and not have I'm going to stop for 30 days. If I wish to stop for 30 days, I stop. And on the 31st day, I start again like I never stopped. I've put time frames, I put limits, I have complete control over my habits. And in fact, I don't try to even hide it. If I wanted a cigarette, I just say I'm going to go out. But I've never done that on a live stream. I've never smoked on a live stream. No one's ever seen me smoke, but I smoke. Okay? Lots of people smoke. It's okay to smoke. In fact, one of the two things that you can buy in the Philippines, unlimited amounts of, is alcohol, cigarettes, or three things, and food. There is so much food on the shelves in the markets of the Philippines, you'd get sick. Every shelf is overstocked with boxes on the floor. Everything. Now, I didn't make any video last time I went because there was no need to. Every shelf is overstocked. And outside, immediately, both malls, BQ and ICM, is a tobacco and liquor store right outside the main entrance of both malls, of both food stores. There's an unlimited supply of alcohol and cigarettes and food. They want you to be comfortable in your house, and you need those things. Some people need those things to be comfortable in their house. But if you can't control your bodily needs or want or habitual needs for a lousy hour or 2 hours, I would reevaluate your ability to focus, pay attention. I mean, and or your needs for your habitual functions probably interferes with your ability and your cognitive ability to think about rational trains of thought. I would think the two of them go hand in hand. And subsequently, is directly proportional or indirect with information. If you can't control, if you are a cigarette smoker and you can't control it, then you have a problem. I think they might fare well and all be well. Mayors are the worst. They are. Oh, God, they are. The mayors of New York City, oh, my God, he's pushing things that 3 years ago would have been unimaginable. Thanks, Clark. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you my farewell. Even though I don't have permission to wear a fedora, as I have been told, I'm going to put a fedora on my head. I don't have the slightest clue what a fedora means. I've seen women wear them in music videos. I've seen rap stars. There is something that relates to wearing a fedora. Does it have anything to do? Can I wear a fedora and bang a pot at the same time? You guys have 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and I'm going to close this stream down. If you have a comment and you know of a particular rule that says Michael Foster ordinance and what town that is, and I'll stop banging the pot. Otherwise, for exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds, I'm going to bang this pot. right, baby. I don't see a single comment denying me the privilege of banging a pot. Although I've heard stories that I'm not allowed to bang the pot. I just don't know why. So with that, I will tip my fedora to you. I don't know what a fedora means. I never knew what a fedora meant. I remember who gave me the fedora. I remember which people in my past wore fedoras. And God bless everybody. And Warren H. was supposed to come on our live stream today, and it didn't happen. So, well, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We can only hope. Thanks everybody for stopping. You've probably heard the story too. Bye-bye, Big Kev. Big Kev is going to Brazil or Uruguay or Paraguay to meet Shirley. God bless you. God bless you, Brother Kevin. Brother Kevin. Brother Kevin. Brother Kevin is here. Paige High is an actual doctor. I've heard stories that the two doctors that are truthful about being doctors, there are more. There is another doctor in the house, but I don't mention his name as a doctor because he doesn't want to become, and or the police officers and or the profilers that watch my channel. I've heard stories that there is no doctor that watches, and you don't have to prove anything, Paige. I believe you. I've actually believed you. I believed you since day one. I mean, there's nothing not to believe. I know it's true. So, but that there are no doctors. The doctors that come to my page are fake doctors. The police that come to my page aren't police. When in fact, they have been exactly what they said they were for a long time. Every one of them. Much more successful. Anyway, God bless everybody. And remember, once the donations reach a certain point, I will open it up. Oh, and one more thing about the donations. I have heard stories where I'm going to have to pay tax on the donations. No, that's not true. I won't have to pay tax on the donations. It's investment capital. So the fact that people will give me the money, even as much as $100,000, I will not have to pay tax on it as long as I spend the money on the investment that it was sanctioned for. So I can collect $100,000, spend $100,000 on materials and labor, and not pay a dime in taxes on that money. I do believe that's the way it works. I do believe. So don't worry about my tax and whether or not I pay my taxes, and don't worry about if I'm going to pay tax on the $100,000, and don't worry about reporting me to the IRS because it's April, and the only money I have to report is the money from 2019. I don't even have to deal with this, but I don't have to deal with that till next year. So by next year, I'll deal with it, and by next year, hopefully, building done, and I'll just write it all off as a tax write-off anyway. So don't worry about my fundraising and or my fundraising capacity. Believe me when I tell you, if I sent out a request for necessary funds, I think that there are people out there that would be more than happy to accommodate me. Unlike a particular blogger, 6 minutes, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I'm hot, and I wish to make lunch. So, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, we did bang a pot. We did make a lot. We actually collected 500 pesos today. 500 big ones. 500 big ones going once. 500 big ones going twice. We had Big Kev No Bull. We had Dr. Clark Henderson. We had Scott Delfego. We had Dennis Adam. We had John Escape. We had Dr. P. High. We had Ron Tripp. We also had John Escape. We had Blue Rose. We had Michael McFarland. We had big one there. We had Captain America on here. We had voting, some guy named Voting something, whatever that is. And Man Bear Pit. We started it. That's right. Bang a pot, make a lot. bang a pot, make a lot. Ending the stream now. Pumping Permy.